What's up, my Chaos crew? Here we go back in My Hero Ultra Rumble, and today we're doing a different video. So I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen my special tuning tier list on my channel. Today, we're doing a different tier list. We're doing a character tier list. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on which characters are, S tier and who's D tier or even F tier. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and start off by saying that personally, this is my opinion, so you guys are entitled to go and disagree with my opinion, and if you do, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear who you guys have as, an S tier character, A tier, and so on. Secondly, there is no specific order besides the rankings I have here, which is D through S. The reason why I have it like that is because I don't really think that any character is just flat out bad in this game, but I cannot deny that maybe some characters need some more, need some more help than others. So that's why I figured there's no point in really having an actual F tier. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our first character, which is Strike Deku. Yeah, I think this guy's still an S tier pick. I think this guy's still S tier. And the reason why I personally think that's because this character, despite whatever changes you may have added to this guy, or whatever changes were added to this guy, in his lifespan in this game, he's still an insanely strong character, very strong alphas, a tracking beta that also is still very strong. And if you don't feel like using the tracking version of it, you can just go super high in the air and extend the range of your beta to hit everyone around you. And then his gamma can give him great mobility, and it also has some very solid damage in itself. This character all around is still a very, very strong character. Do not let one for all Izuku right here fool you. This guy is still a monster in this game. Not to mention he also has the self revive as well with his little special action. So I start this character as S tier. Not to also mention the fact that this guy has combos that can shred people super fast. I should have also mentioned this in the beginning. I'm not counting tuning. All this tuning stuff you see, ignore it. If you see it, yeah, I'm not counting any of it. I'm thinking of the character without tuning. Next character in line, I believe, is, Assault Deku, and I have him A tier. This character is going to be A tier because of the simple fact that while I do think that Strike Deku is better just because of the damage he's outputting and he has some very solid mobility, this guy right here is honestly still a problem himself. I think despite the direction the game went in, this guy is still a very solid all-around character. Like if you're a new player and you're like, oh snap, I only got Deku, that's all you I'm not gonna lie, that may be all you need. This guy is still a great all-around character, and I still think that despite the way the game, despite the direction the game went into, he can still contend with even some of the more broken characters in this game. He just requires a little bit of skill to contend with those characters. So I just want to go ahead and make sure I say that, because I feel like a lot of people look at this character and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna play Deku because why would I play him when One for All Deku's here? Both these versions of the character are still very strong, by the way. Please keep that in mind. Next in line is One for All Deku, if I remember correctly. Yes, it is, and that guy's S tier. Do I even need to go into detail why this guy is S tier? Auto tracking gamma, which by the way you don't have to fully hold down to get the auto tracking on it. Armored melees, which means you can get off that melee combo pretty easily as long as you're in the general direction of your opponent. It tracks as well whether you're on ground or in air. Very strong freaking beta, especially if you get overdrive off, and his alphas fast with a very hard knockdown, so it leaves openings in the fight for you to go and get in your auto tracking gamma to keep your opponent locked down. Like, this character can do so much. The only thing he can't do is revive, and the only thing that, and realistically speaking, and depending on the situation, he can do that because he can just use a special action, use smoke screen, and still be able to go ahead and revive his teammate because you can't see through the smoke. And then he also has Fajin he could use to increase. They're going to pretty much have the equivalent of space hop. This character, there's not a whole lot this character cannot do, and you feel his presence on the battlefield no matter whether the person is good with the character or not so good with the character. You feel this guy's presence. So with that being said, he's also another S tier pick. Next in line is Strike Bakugo. I got this guy at A tier. The reason why I put him in A tier is because I think that he is a very strong character. He's very, very strong. I'm not gonna deny that. But when I compare him to his rapid counterpart, which I'm about to do in a minute here because he's next up, it's just that it's like, I don't think he broke that tier of S tier. He has very strong alphas, very strong betas, and his Gamma is his strongest move in his kit. His special action, thankfully, thanks to this season, got buffed to where it's super easy to fly around the map with this guy, even despite him being a strike, which helps him out a lot. You can still do tons of damage if you can get off of your Beta Alpha combo or Beta Gamma and stuff like that. This guy is still a very, very strong character. So I figured a good spot to put him in would be A tier. Now, as for his rapid counterpart, S tier. The reason why I put this guy in S tier is because of the simple fact that he has similar damage to Strike Bakugo, I feel like, but way better movement, especially with the way that this season changed everyone's movements in this game and everything. You can eject yourself. You can literally eject yourself so much further with his Gamma now, his Alpha and everything. And mind you, if you land these skills and you're not just using them for simple movement, his Alpha smacking for like 110, 120. His Gamma smacking for like 150 plus. His Beta smacking for like 80, 90 damage. This guy is super, super strong. He's literally, if I had to break it down simply, he's like Strike Bakugo for damage, but he got the movement to go with it. So it makes it where it's a lot harder to catch him, especially in like end game scenarios. This guy's just raining bombs from above, and you're trying to like get this guy out the air, like get him out the air, get him out the air. So yeah, I gotta put him in S tier. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get on over to our next character, which is Ochaco. Yeah, so for Ochaco, this is the rapid version. This character, I didn't even do all that. This character is S tier. In my opinion, I've been destroyed by so many good Ochaco players. Cause like with her, you get caught in her Gamma once, game over. Honestly, it is just flat out game over. So you add that with her movement and the increase to movement this season, she still has very crazy damage. I think she's one of the few characters who actually didn't get their combo nerfed. Her combo is still untouched for the most part. So I have to put her in S tier. And with that in mind, let's go and get this out the way too. Her assault counterpart is also S tier, because even though she does not have the same crazy movement as her rapid counterpart, she has a very low cooldown Beta, which allows her to travel very, very far. Her Alpha hits insanely hard. And when I said that, I remember when people were disagreeing with me, I'm like, bro, do y'all not see that she has like 200 plus on one Alpha if she lands it? And she can combo that into her Gamma, which also has very high damage. Like this character, damage-wise, I'm surprised she's not a strike character with how much damage she has. Like, I get how she's defense because of her Beta and her high HP, but she's hitting like a strike character. It's absolutely crazy. But with that being said, let's go and get on over to our next character. So our next character is going to be Iida, which I didn't mean to click on him, but Iida. Yeah, I put him in A tier. And the reason why I put him in A tier is because he's not like super broken or anything. I feel like we all, can agree on that. He's not super broken, but he is still a troublesome character to fight against if the player knows what he's doing with that, with his Gamma increasing his speed, his Beta hitting super, super hard, and then, his Alpha is leading up to his, the eventual Beta that's incoming. If you can combo all these skills together and add that with his increased, his increased speed from his Gamma, this character can still, he can still dominate. He really can. And then not to mention his air melee, which is super, super good as well. This character is still just, in my opinion, he's still a very strong pick. Is he like just super broken or anything? No, but I still think he is a fairly strong character. Next in line is Todoroki. So we'll start off with Strike first. I say this guy's A tier. Now, I was thinking about this because of the simple fact that I just did a video on this guy, showing off how crazy powerful he is with tuning, and also like, oh, this character is like, he might be S tier. I can't do that. I don't think I could do that, because that's me considering tuning. And I feel like if you throw tuning into the situation, you could argue probably a lot of these characters probably get bumped up a tier. I feel like if you include tuning, you got a specific tuning build for these guys. So I can't do that. When I tested his damage values without tuning, they were actually much more controlled. They were much more, they weren't as broken. This guy is still super strong, by the way. Let me say that he's still very strong. If you connect a Gamma Beta combo or Gamma Alpha combo, you're still catching somebody's attention real fast. Not to mention his beta's hitbox is insane. So with that all being said, I don't really see myself putting this character any higher than A tier, as long as I'm not considering tuning. Not to also mention, or I should mention, this guy's special action. can we change it, please? Like, I pray that we can get a rework on this guy's special action in the very near future, because oh my gosh, I still think this to this day, I think he has the most useless special action in the game. I generally think that. Like, give him a flamethrower that does like a set amount of damage if the opponent is up, and then give him a special action that can maybe eliminate opponents if they're down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just do more with it. Like, just this is, you don't feel intimidated by this when you see it. I know we all make the joke saying, "Oh, hey, special action for intimidation," but let's be honest, no one's intimidated seeing that. The only way that you can really make the special action actually somewhat useful is using the tech counterpart, which we're about to go over now, and when using it with his gamma. Besides that, the special action is useless. There's no point in really using that. But like I said, we're going to the tech part. I also would say this guy is A tier, which I think he is the first skill set I'm throwing in A tier. So the reason why I'm putting him in A tier is because when it comes to fighting him, I don't really feel threatened by him, I guess I would say, compared to like other skill sets. He used to be super strong, but now he's not super strong anymore. He's just strong. You know what I mean? His alpha still does some pretty decent damage, and it gives him pretty decent protection thanks to the ice on the ice on the ground. His beta still, I'm very sure has some very solid damage. His gamma adds great coverage. This character is a character you want to use if you just want to spam to keep yourself safe, and he's meant to do that. That's why he's a purple and everything. He's meant to spam out his attacks and keep his opponents away from him, you know, to the best of his abilities. And then of course his famous alpha beta explosion combo that can cover up a large amount of range, do a big amount of damage, can go through walls. He's still a strong character, just not as strong as when he first released, which is why I would have to go ahead and put him in A tier. With that being said, let's hop on over to Froppy, Tsuyu, our favorite frog girl here. I have to go ahead and put her in A tier. The reason why I put her in A tier is because this character, there's another character I would say is similar to Iida. If the person knows what they're doing with this character, they aren't just, you know, playing all willy-nilly with the character. This character is super hard to hit sometimes, and she's fairly strong. Not to mention, you know, the change to the movement in this meta as well. It definitely benefited this character a lot. And then not to mention her not to mention her revive for her allies as well. It's very quick and very snappy. She has to get within range, and boom, she's getting her teammate back up every time. Like this character, I feel like is still a very strong pick. So honestly, when they come out with a skill set for this character, I can't wait. Her and Iida, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with those characters for their skill sets. They're very strong characters. With that being said, let's get on over to Kirishima, Red Riot Unbreakable. Let's get over to him. I put him, surprisingly enough, I put him in B tier. The reason why I say that's surprising is because this is the assault version, by the way. I put him in B tier because despite the small changes that they made to his kit and everything, I would like to say this, with him being in B tier, I don't think he's bad. I want to make sure I say that. I do not think that he is bad whatsoever. But I do want to go ahead and say that with everyone jumping all over the place now, thanks to the movement change in in this season, this character is, I feel like he's going to be harder to play. Not that he can't perform, because he can still do really well with his his armored skills and everything. It's really more so to a point where you have to go ahead and trade blows with your opponents. Like, let's say like you fight like a Rapid Deku. You're going to have to trade blows with that guy if you want to catch him. Or let's say you fight a Rapid Bakugo. You're going to have to trade blows to catch that guy. Or let's say, and hopefully you don't really have to fight this, you're fighting a Monoma with Gear Shift. If he somehow touches the ground, you're going to have to trade blows to catch that guy. So, with that in mind, it's like, he doesn't have the movement to really contend well in this meta. But he still has really solid damage and really great defense. So I feel like with that in mind, I couldn't really put him in A tier, but I couldn't put him anything lower than B. Anything lower than B, I feel like would be just disrespectful. So that's why I have him in B tier. Let's go ahead and get over to his strike counterpart, S tier. Just flat out S tier. One combo from this guy, and your day is over. It's wraps. This guy hits so freaking hard. And the reason why he hits so hard is literally because of his combos. His moves individually, they don't hit super hard, but it's the fact they can all combo into one another that makes this guy an absolute monster. So, with that in mind, it's like I couldn't put him anywhere besides S tier. Not to mention, he also has projectiles with his gamma that allows him to hit aerial characters. So that's not even really a problem. So it's like he has, I guess I would say he has what Assault Kirishima lacks, both movement and projectiles. So it's like I gotta put him in S. the sheer damage he's putting out, and the fact that he has more tools than his assault counterparts. So, with that being said, let's go get over to our next character, which is Yaoyorozu. I would also put this character in B tier, and the reason why I would put her there is, I would say similar reasons to Kirishima, but slightly different for her. Obviously, I wouldn't sit here and say trade blows with this character. You don't really want to do that, I feel like. But with her, she also lacks the ability to get a lot of these movement characters, unless they're up close and in her face. She also lacks the ability to get all these movement characters who are flying all over the map. Not to mention the fact that one of her strongest moves, being her cannons, require prep time. Now, if you can go ahead and predict your opponent's movements and where they're going to move, where they're going to go, and stuff like that, you can destroy with this character. No denying that. This character is still strong. It's just that she is a situational character. I would say a lot of the characters I put in the B tier are going to be either situational or balanced, I would say, if that makes sense. A tier I would say is like strong, and then S tier is like broken and might need looks into to like nerfing a tad bit. You know what I mean? So with this character, I just think that she is a solid B tier pick. She's still very strong depending on the situation, but she can get cooked with, you know, how super strong this meta is. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get on over to our next character, which is Denki. Denki, my boy, you are going in A tier. And the reason I was thinking about this, I was like, do I really want to put him in A tier? Yeah, I think I want to put him in A tier. This guy, I think crazy enough, his alphas remain untouched since the launch of this game, I think. So his alphas are still super duper strong. His Gamma, Auto Stun, and everybody knows it. Denki Gamma into Beta or Denki Gamma into Alpha, and you're shredding your opponent. It just depends on what situation calls for which one. This character still has very high damage output, and you feel it anytime you get caught by this character. But that's the thing. You have to get caught. He lacks as much movement. He still has decent mobility with thanks to his Gamma. That's really his only mobility option. So it's like you have to be in mid to close range for this character to really be super effective. So as long as you're far, or if you have a character who has armor or, you know, hard knockdowns, I feel like you have ways to go ahead and also still get around this character. Despite that, I still think this guy is still super duper strong. If you get caught by a Denki, you pay attention to him immediately if you get caught. So I think A tier is a solid spot to go ahead and put this character. With that in mind, let's head over to his tech counterpart and put him in the same spot. He's also going in A tier. The reason why I put this guy in A tier is because he doesn't feel game breaking or anything like that. He doesn't feel like super broken. Is he annoying? Absolutely, incredibly. He's definitely annoying with his alphas making it very easy for him to third party, doing very high damage. With his betas having those stuns, and then he can go into his regular alphas to damage you while you're stunned by the betas, and then his gamma allowing him to get away from you, or he can use you to get further away. It's like, this character is very annoying. He's very annoying, and he controls the battlefield really, really well with his kit and everything. But despite how annoying he is, I do not think he is game-breaking in any way, shape, or form. So I was like, he's a strong pick. Put him in A tier. Now, let's get over to everybody's favorite Class 1B student, Monoma. This guy's S tier. This guy's S tier. And the reason why I put him in S tier, even after his special action nerfs, this guy, he has so much versatility. Now, true, you know, he lost some HP or whatever. I wouldn't be opposed to him giving back his additional 50 HP, but then again, I mean, he's kind of running rampant right now, so maybe on second thought, y'all can hold off on that a little bit, but his special action, in my opinion, definitely makes him an S tier character. Because you have to think about the fact that this guy can sit up here and first, he'll annoy you, hit you with a couple of waves from his alpha, maybe he'll dash at you with a beta, or maybe he'll intrigue you to hit him with a gamma. Once you finally give in and finally hit this character, or he hits you back, and he gets those core skills in his hands, he can make some of the craziest combos ever seen in this game. I've seen this guy use Strike Kendo Alpha into Rapid All Might Gamma and do like 350 damage plus, you know, on an opponent. I'm like, bro, this guy's potential is ludicrous. And mind you, that's the crazy thing. Nobody even plays, I won't say nobody, most people don't even play him like that. They just play him to go ahead and be mad annoying and, you know, use other people's quirk skills, or maybe even use gear shift and fly around the map because for whatever reason the movement's that good for him. Whole point is, this guy got a lot in his bag despite his special action nerf, so I can't help but put this guy in S tier. He is a super, super strong pick. I feel like putting him in A or anything below that is disrespectful. So, hey, congrats, Monoma. You're better than a lot of the Class 1A students here. You're in S tier, my boy. Good job, bro. With that in mind, let's get over to Kendo. She's the next pick. I say she is B tier, Assault Kendo. And the reason why I say she is B tier, she's a character who can still perform. She's a character who still has very good damage if you could go ahead and, get your shots in. Great shield and everything with her beta. Main thing is, though, her lack of movement, so it makes it very hard to where unless you're in close combat, it's hard for this character to really perform. And I think that's okay for this character. Back, I've always said this back when Kendo was I guess more popular, Assault Kendo. I said she is a close combat monster. Meaning that if you're in close range with her, she's going to dominate. That's what she excels at. But that's the thing, she has to get in close to do that. And I feel like for this season, that is going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem because of the simple fact that everyone is just all over the place. Literally, they're literally all over the place. And not to mention, people think you can just, characters like Rapid Deku, Bakugo, Ochaco, so on. Even like non-rapid characters, like I could go to All Might, or you could use maybe even Tech Mirio for an example. Just there's so many characters who just make it harder, I feel like, for this character to perform, I feel like. So I don't think she's bad by any means. I think she can still perform, but for her, it's situational, so I had to throw her in B tier. Now, as for this monstrosity of a character, yeah, take your butt to A. Take your butt to S rank. See how much I was stuttering just to say that? This character is still a problem. I know they nerfed her movement and everything this season. That don't matter. That doesn't matter. This character can still combo you to pieces. She'll shred you with those iron fists of her. I promise you. She is still a problem. Where to even begin? She has a similar situation to Strike Kiri. It's the fact that she can combo all her skills together while they all individually have very solid damage. Her Alpha, I think her Alpha does like 80 damage on the uncharged, 100 on the full charge. Her Beta, it can get range from anywhere from 130 up to like 250, depending on if that gets fully charged or not. And then her Gamma, that obnoxious Gamma, just spin till you win. Spin till you win. And you'll take like 130, 140, 150 damage from that skill. I don't know how much damage it does exactly, but it does a lot of damage. Not to mention her Gamma is super, super good for finishing off downed opponents because they just get repeatedly smacked by her Gamma. She shreds people so fast. Then when I'm talking about her melee combo that you can go ahead and use back to back if you know how to time it correctly and just load that into your quirk skills to also do more damage. This character is super duper strong despite her movement nerfs. The movement nerfs don't really affect her, I feel like, besides survivability, I guess. So I still have to throw this character in S tier, no doubt about it. So with that being said, let's go over to Ibara. Praise Ibara, my guys. Hey, Chaos Crew, make sure you praise Ibara, this wonderful character. Despite that, I did put this wonderful character also in B tier. So I put her in B tier because she's a character that I feel like is also situational. She is super strong. Do not underestimate this character. You see this character and you think, oh, okay, easy kill. I can trade blows with her. I am telling you right now, if you value your character's life and your win, do not trade blows with this character. She hits too hard. I don't think they should touch his character whatsoever. In all honesty, she is super strong as is. Here's the way I break down the Ibara's character in my head. She's a character with 400 HP. That is to make up for the fact that she lacks mobility. Now, when you add that with her having Face Shield, her special action, 2 of those, by the way. You add that with her Alpha, which she has 2 versions of it. Most people use the aim-in version to get more damage out of it. That does 150 plus. Then you have her Viado. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Her Beta. You have her Beta, which it has armor, and in tight spaces, it bounces off walls, so it does more damage. It could do up to like 200 plus damage if you know what you're doing with it. And then her Gamma. I hope I said her Beta. But anyways, her Gamma also has armor, and I think it's the highest damaging freaking Gamma I can think of. Well, maybe not anymore, but what makes this move so detrimental is that it attacks HP directly. So if you're a rapid character getting hit by this, you're taking like 240 damage from one move. Like it is not a fun time if you get caught by this character. She has very, very high damage. So do not underestimate this character, despite me putting her in B tier. But I put her in B tier just due to her lack of movement and to her skills being super duper strong in a very situational, circumstance. So with that in mind, that's why I put her in B tier. But despite that, I'm telling you right now, Just because I'm putting these characters in B tier, do not underestimate them. They can still cook. They're just not as good as what the rest of the meta has for us. I just had to make sure I put that in there. Because people are probably looking at this list like, wait, why is my character in B tier? I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that when you compare them to the other characters in this game, One for All Deku, it's like they don't have what that character has. You know what I mean? When you compare them to the meta characters. With that being said, let's hop on over to our next character, being in Rapid Mirio. I got this guy in A tier. So I put him in A tier because despite them nerfing this guy to the ground, he still feels really, really good to play as. His alpha, very solid. If you know how to use it, you can use it for great movement. He also has his alpha combo, which is much more consistent to land this season because they buffed it. His beta, let's go ahead and go on down here. His beta, very easy to go and use that skill to go ahead and get some distance or to go ahead and track down your opponents. And it's up to your opponent whether they're aware enough to react in enough time before you uppercut out the ground, doing a solid like 170 damage or so. So, still, very great skill in my opinion. And then you have his Gamma, his Phantom Guard. I hope I'm not saying, Gamma over and over again when I say beta. If I am, please forgive me, guys. But anyways, his freaking Gamma, great for protecting yourself, your allies, and great for a combo ender. If you catch somebody in a beta or something like that, it's super great. Not to mention, this guy has a very fast melee, which makes it very easy to connect combos with him using his melee. This character still feels great despite all the nerfs they added to this character a while back, which is crazy. Then his special action. His special action, become intangible. You can't be touched. Like that's great. Yeah. Now, to be honest, you do have to time it and everything, but still. And then if you don't feel like doing that, just aim to one of your teammates and press your special action button, and you'll teleport straight to them. You'll dash through everything, through everyone, and get straight to your teammates. So as long as they're safe, like if you have let's say like a Kurogiri on your side, and he's hiding off somewhere, probably one of Mirio's best partners. I'm not even gonna lie. Or a Tamaki who's just spamming Gamma all over the map, probably Mirio's best partner. Not even gonna lie, because they're typically players like that always gonna be in a safe space, a safe space for this character to get away, and and get out of harm's way, which is super great. So with that in mind, this is all me saying that I think this character is an A tier pick, despite everything that he's been through in his lifespan. Now, Tech Mirio. Brother, you are going in S tier. How could I not put him in S tier? This guy has similar functions. Well, not similar functions. The exact same functions as Rapid Mirio with his special action. He has 300 HP. He has an alpha that has very small, and when I say small, I mean like minuscule. He has a very small window in his alpha where you can hit this guy. Besides that, this character doesn't have an open window to attack this guy like his rapid counterpart. At least with the rapid counterpart, you can catch somebody charging the alpha, or if they're doing the alpha combo, you can attack them mid alpha combo. This guy doesn't really have that. If they're moving while shooting alpha, you're probably not getting good damage in on this guy. You might get in one alpha, or if you could somehow time a beta or a gamma or something, you might get in a good beta or a gamma if you could time it. But if you're trading blows to this guy like alpha wise, you're not landing a shot. Mirio, we can play board games after the video. I'm talking about how broken you are right now. So his alpha window, super minuscule, super small. A Phantom Slash. Now, reckon you can attack him after he does these two moves you see here. But while he's doing these moves, don't touch him. Just don't fight him. Let him get out of his system. Dodge him. And not to mention his beta, he can combo beta into alpha. You can sneak in like an alpha or two. If you land your beta and they're elevated off the ground to a certain level, you can let in an alpha and you'll do some very good damage. And then this gamma man, I still think this skill should go on cooldown after, even if you land the skill, it should go on cooldown. But even if they did do that, would it matter? The cooldown for it is like 3 to 4 seconds. I don't know what the exact time is, but it's a very short cooldown. So if you do miss the skill, it comes back to you at the snap of your fingers. Like this guy is very strong. Not to mention the damage that comes from this skill, 200 plus guaranteed every time. Like this character, S tier. Yeah, no doubt about it in my mind. Now, let's go get on to our next character, which is Tamaki. So, with this one, I was really thinking about it. I think I have to put him in A tier. And the reason why I put him in A tier, and some of you guys are probably looking like, what? Tamaki in A tier? What do you mean? He's an S tier character. Hear me out, guys. The reason why I put him in A tier is because of the fact that while yes, He is super strong. He doesn't feel broken. Think about it like this. I would say I would consider like Mirio more of a problem to fight against. Like an actual a decent Mirio is much harder to fight against than a Tamaki. This guy has great damage, and if he catches you slipping, yes, he will put you up. He'll take you out, no doubt about it. He has a very strong alpha, auto tracking beta that makes him invisible and give a speed increase, and a gamma that goes through walls, and it has a larger distance and everything, and it does crazy damage. And depending on how he uses it, yes, it can hit you twice. Like, trust me, I know this all sounds great. You're like, why? How is he not S tier? It's one of those things where it's like, if it makes sense, it's situational. I would say, if like this guy has to third party you with that gamma to go ahead and even put you in a scenario where you have to go when you get hit twice by his gamma. You know what I mean? You can dodge his alphas. It's like, as long as you are aware of Tamaki and what where he is on the map, you can. I feel like you can fight this guy decently well. You can trade blows with this guy, and you won't, be reduced to shreds. You just gotta be, aware of him. If that makes sense. He doesn't feel as threatening as the other S tier characters I'm seeing on the field. I have an easier time fighting him compared to like a rapid Ochaco, and that's just the way that the characters' kits are done. So again, if you were to argue he was S tier, I would totally understand. I totally get it. But I think, me personally, A tier. He's a very strong pick, but there's nothing I would really change about the character, because, not saying he's balanced, but he's not broken. At least I don't think he's broken. He's very strong, and I'm gonna keep saying that. Make sure you guys understand. He's very strong, but I don't think he's broken. I wouldn't really change anything about him. So, let's go ahead and get over to my girl Nejire. How's it going? Okay, she is going to be an A tier pick. And the reason why I have to go ahead and put her in A tier is because she's also another character I would say is actually surprisingly strong right now. Her alphas, if you can land them, do insane damage. Her beta, despite the nerfs to it, can also still put in some really good work as well when it comes to blinding opponents, putting in some good damage, stuff like that. So her beta is still really, really good, I feel like, despite the nerfs that it got. And then her gamma is still super strong as well, with how much AoE it has on it. You just have to easily catch people's wake-ups and everything. This character is really, really strong. Now, obviously, her weakness is that, when she's in the air using her special action and stuff like that, she's very easy to shoot down. But, if you could play around that correctly, or play around her, reloading her skills and stuff like that by touching the ground and everything, if you could play around that, really well, this character, still very strong. You feel her presence on the battlefield. So, with that being said, with Nejire ending off in A tier, let me go ahead and get on over to our next character, which is Shinso. Shinso, I would have to go ahead and put in S tier. And in all honesty, I gotta put this character in S tier. And hear me out when I say that. I don't think you guys have to hear me out. This character is ludicrous. Special action, I don't see a lot of them use I don't see a lot of Shinso players use special action often, but they will use it to get in that extra special shot if they can get it. But the reason why I put this character in S tier is because if you get caught by this character once, it could be game over. If you get caught by him twice, you're done. Put down your controller, all right, and just rest up, wait for your team to revive you, or get ready to load to another match. Because this character, his damage, he's funny enough, he's similar as the characters he's in the exact same row with. It's the fact that he has such high damage on his skills, and he can combo them together. Literally, if he wants to, 2 alphas, most of your shield's gone. If he does an alpha and a beta, your shield's probably gone. This character is freaking insane. And then he could throw on Trance Blow with his gamma, and now you're slowed down, making it that much easier for him to smack you with beta or alpha. This character has insanely high damage output, and then the fact he can combo it all together just makes it where if you get caught by this guy once or twice, game over. Quite literally, it is just game over. It is not honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't have fun fighting Shinso. I see Shinso on the field, I'm like, oh my gosh, Shinso. It's like, now, if you're in a situation where your team's fighting him, easy to handle. You can handle him as a team. But 1v1, I hate fighting this guy. Not to mention, he has some weird hitboxes sometimes. I got smacked by a beta off the ground, and I still don't know how to this day I got hit by it. Still to this day. I was heated. I do not like fighting this guy. Oh my gosh. But yes, Shinso is S tier. No doubt about it. So, with that being said, let's go and get over to our next character, the symbol of peace himself, All Might. I would have put his assault version in A tier. I have to put that character in A tier, I feel like. And the reason why is that, firstly, I would like to start off this portion of the video by saying, This character was probably one of the most broken characters in this game. With the amount of times that they nerfed this guy, probably one of the most broken characters in this game. High jump, his carry to safety, both very very useful to have. His high jump, it can let you get the high ground to go and get in some good alphas, or let you go and get in the right spot to land a beta. His carry to safety, if you could put the hurt on your enemies to get them to back up, easy time to hop in and save your allies. But despite the nerfs that they made to his alpha, if you can land his alpha consistently, he's doing 70 to 140 damage with every alpha he's landing. All you gotta do is just land your shots, and this character can still output some very good damage. His beta, 200 plus, great for mobility, great damage, still very strong, I feel like. Of course, you could get caught at the end of it. And his gamma, as long as you're not fighting like some hard knockdown skills like Ibara's alphas, or as long as you're not fighting like Strike Shigaraki's alphas or anything like that, his alpha is still very good in terms of protecting him and helping him get away. So I would say this character overall, he still has a very good kit. He's just, if you're just that maybe people might feel like he's weaker now because, like, you know, he's not as broken as he was, you know, in previous seasons, which that's okay. This character needed the nerfs. I'll say it here as an All Might fan. The character needed the nerfs. I'm not going to deny. Like, this character was super duper strong, and he's still strong now. You just got to, you know how to use him. So with that in mind, I got to put him in A tier and just say he's still a very strong pick. You just got to know how to play him. You got to know how to use him. Let's get on over to his rapid counterpart, which I will also throw in A tier. And maybe there's some people that might be crazy because like, what? How is he A tier? His alphas, they shred. You're not wrong, but to counter that, in my opinion, you just have to go ahead and take cover against this guy. Now, keep in mind, I love Rapid All Might. I think he's a very fun character to play, but is it crazy for me to say that he might be one of the more balanced skill sets? His alphas, yes, they can do insane damage. All you gotta do, really, in my opinion, if you can, just take cover. You gotta take cover somewhere or move in a way where it's hard for him to track you. If you do that, the damage won't be as bad. You won't take the full brunt of his Texas Smash Gatling. His beta, great for movement if you get it to level 7 and above. When it comes to using it for attacks, though, I do find myself having issues with attacking with his beta from time to time, and sometimes it might even bug out, because if you get that if you use the dash version of it and you get the KO on the dash version, the KO sign or the down sign won't proc, and you have to like keep your eye on your opponent to see if you down them or not, in case, you know, a situation like that happens. So keep that in mind. So his beta, a little wonky. His gamma is super duper strong, allowing you to tap multiple people at one time if you can land it on top of their teammates. All Might. All Might, let me finish, bro. His gamma is still super duper strong. It does have armor on in the beginning, but it doesn't keep armor, so he can't get knocked out of it, which I think is fair, to be honest, because if he could just armor through everything while in this move, I'm not gonna lie, that might be a little bit broken, especially with how much damage you can do with this one skill. Especially like, and I know I said no tuning, but look at the tuning build I have for him. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think he's fine as he is. Like, besides tweaking his beta a bit, I think this character is fine. I don't think he need any real buffs or nerfs. Besides, they made it where they increase his damage reduction on his alpha, by the way. Like, I think this character is fine. So tweak his beta a little bit, but besides that, he's fine. I think he's a solid. I think he's a very strong pick, A tier. Now, Aizawa. This one I had to really think about. I'll be honest with you guys, I had to put him in S tier. Looking at this guy, I had to put him in S tier. I had to put this guy in S tier because, like, maybe some people look at it like, nah, he's A tier. Let me break it down for you real quick. Let me tell you something, okay? This guy's special action, sealing your quirks, mad annoying. So if his team knows how to capitalize off of that, you have no real way to fight back besides maybe a special action, and that varies depending on who you're playing as, obviously. So you might just be cooked if he's on the field and his team's fighting with him. His alpha, it depends which version of his alpha. I think both versions of his alpha are dangerous. You have the ground version, which, yeah, he'll capture you, pull you in, and he'll do his little combos and stuff like that. His air version does so much damage. I'm dang near traumatized by it. I see an Aizawa hop in the air doing some air alphas at me, and I get terrified. I get concerned for my life in this game because he does like 180 plus with his alpha for whatever reason. Now, reckon you have to be precise with it, but he also has like a small shockwave on it, so he can still get some really good damage off on that. So it's like, oh, that hurts. Why does that hurt so much? And so that right there, his alpha, devastating. Do not underestimate it. His weakest skill is probably his beta, which people can probably still get good value out of it with his mobility and stuff like that. So he still has, this character has very great mobility. Then his Gamma. Don't get me started on this character's Gamma. A go-to bread and butter Aizawa combo. Ground alpha, pull you in. Melee, and if they have a tuning, you better hope it's not Embrittlement. You better hope it's not Iron Fist. You better hope it's not both of those. And then into freaking Gamma, and he just shreds your health. He just shreds your health. This character is so insanely strong. And like, what's crazy is I'm pretty sure they tried nerfing this guy in the past, which is crazy. This guy, I gotta put him in S tier. I'm sorry. And if that may upset anybody, I'm sorry. I gotta put him in S tier. He got too much going for him. He really does. So now, with that being said, let's get on over to his best buddy here, Present Mike, the guy who loves to just scream his freaking lungs out. I was determining where I wanted to put this guy. I think he's also another one I gotta put in S tier, to be honest with you guys. And the reason why is because like, they nerfed his HP, which thank goodness, but like his special action doubling his damage pretty much, and then he has a beta that can stun you, an alpha that can just shred while you're stunned, or he could do beta into gamma and you're still saying goodbye to your guard. His damage you cannot ignore, and his beta you really can't ignore that either. His beta is one of the main reasons why I put him in S tier, because you get it's the main starter to his combo, but if you're within range for that beta, mind you, it has a very big hitbox, by the way. You could dodge it and you'll still get stunned, and you're still catching a DJ punch right to the face. You're gonna be like, you know, All For One's doctor. You're like, oh, like you're getting hit right in the face like, every time. This character, you cannot deny his presence on the field when he's there. He, at least for me, he's one of my hardest characters to fight against. Just due to how oppressive he is. So with that in mind, I can't help but put this guy in S tier. I feel like he's so dang strong. I think you can make an argument to nerf his damage, and I wouldn't be mad at it. This guy is strong. He is so freaking strong. With that being said, let's get over to Cementoss, the block man himself. I gotta go and put him in B tier. Now that may come off as crazy, putting this guy in B tier, but hear me out. I feel like with the way that this meta has, you know, turned around and everything, he can be a sitting duck depending on who he's fighting. Now, if he's fighting grounded characters like, you know, Yaoyorozu or, you know, Ibara, I would even say I was gonna throw Kirishima in there, but he could technically get up there with his armor. You know, the whole point is, if he's fighting grounded characters, yeah, I can see this character dominating. A good Cementoss can still dominate, by the way. I should mention that. But with his playstyle, it makes him a sitting duck to all these movement characters. You know, I like, there are so many characters now in this game who can scale his blocks and honestly put the work on them. Now again, he still has value and everything. He still hits very hard. He still has some very good damage. His special action is great for reviving and stuff like that. This character is still very strong, but I feel like his kit has turned into a situational type thing to where it depends on who his opponents are for how strong he's going to be. If he's fighting any characters who could hop in the air like All Might or Deku or something, or Bakugo, the character can he can have a rough time, I feel like. So with that in mind, I feel like I gotta go ahead and put him in B tier. Now, let's get on over to the newer #1 hero himself, Endeavor. So his strike counterpart, this may sound crazy for my Strike Endeavor fans, and this hurts me as well. I sat here and I had to really think about it, but I was like, looking at this character, I think I got to put him in C tier. I really do. And the reason for that is because he needs help. I'll be honest with you. I think the character needs help. The Strike version, at least. We're not going to talk about Assault. We'll get them in a minute. The Strike version needs help, I feel like. Because, like, of course, I know he received his nerfs and stuff like that, and he did get a special action buff. But hear me out. His best move is his beta. You're so heavily dependent on this character's beta to put in so much work that you really need your other skills to put in. Like, let's use this Gamma for an example. I love this skill, and I loved it when they made this skill super broken for that one period of time. But if you get caught out in the open, or if you get caught in your Gamma, you're getting shredded. Like, it still stuns me to this day. This character does not have any type of damage reduction or hyper armor or increased HP to account for the fact that this character is very easy to shred, I feel like. He's very easy to catch. Like, if you're not spamming betas, if you're doing an alpha, firstly, you got to have good tracking with that alpha, which of course that's a skill thing, sure, whatever. But even still, is it really worth it when you have somebody like One For All Deku throwing his alphas? So, so the trade-off there is that you're gonna get in like 60 damage while he's getting off 110 damage. That's not fair. Like, that's not fair. Or let's say, like, let's use Todoroki for an example. I'll use him as an example. All he has to do is put up an ice wall, your alpha becomes ineffective, and if you go for your gamma, good luck, because I guarantee you got a beta or a gamma coming your way, lined up with some alphas to go ahead and, you know, just, no, you're going to eat all that. You're eating it all. Like, trading with the character is not worth it. And you would think it would be, because you would think with him having a bigger frame and everything, he would have more HP. He has 300 HP. It's not hard to melt a Strike Endeavor. So you have to depend more on your betas to put in all the work, when realistically I feel like he should be able to depend more on his other skills. Now, what would I suggest to change on this guy? Honestly, buff his HP or give him like some type of damage reduction or hyper armor on his gamma. Honestly, I wouldn't be against either of those. You could do both and I wouldn't be against that. I feel like this character just needs a little more help to where he's not so dependent on his Searing Arrow. I really feel like he needs that help. So at least in my opinion, I gotta put him in C tier. Now, as for his Assault counterpart, that brother is that brother's S tier. Forgive me, he's not A tier. He's S tier. People were trying to sleep on this character when he first released. No, this guy is a problem on the field. And then the special action buff only made it easier for this guy. His alpha, people underestimate this alpha. It does so much damage. I promise you guys, it does so much freaking damage. Like, if you do a beta alpha combo, I promise you, you're probably getting more damage than a beta gamma combo, in all honesty. Because you can land it more consistently. You can land it so much more consistently. And then it adds an area of effect on the ground, an AoE on the ground, where it just burns them. So you got the initial hit doing like 70, 80 damage, and you got like an 11. Then you got like 11 and 13 damage coming from his from the AOE on it. Like, his alpha is strong. His beta, we all know Assault Endeavor beta by this point. This move, if you get caught by it at the wrong time, it's honestly GG's. It's wraps. And then Prominence Nova, the supernova from this character. Absolutely diabolical. It's so great for finishing off downed opponents, and even if you don't use it on a downed opponent, it does so much damage to standing opponents as is. Like, what I would recommend for Endeavor players, in case you haven't found this out yet, if you want to go and do like a beta gamma combo, if you're far enough away, start off with your gamma. Start off with your gamma, fully charge that thing, throw it, and then time the landing of your gamma with your beta, and you're gonna do so much crazy damage. I promise you. If you don't want to do that, go for beta alpha. The character shreds. Like, he does so much damage. He should have been the strike counterpart of Endeavor. It's truly just crazy how strong this character is. He's S tier. I couldn't put him anything lower for disrespectful. I'm sorry. He is S tier. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and head over to Hawks, my boy Hawks. This guy I would have to go ahead and put in B tier. I put this guy in B tier because despite all the nerfs he got and how people probably can still make the argument that he needs a buff and stuff like that, I still feel like he can still perform. It's crazy. Now, it's definitely skill based, but I guess people were saying he feels more balanced now. I think that's fair, in all honesty. I think that's fair. I think he does feel just more balanced now. And the people who say he needs a buff, you could argue, yeah, we're used to seeing Hawks just being absolutely broken like he was when the first anniversary came out. I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say, honestly. But if you can play around this guy's kit using his alphas efficiently, using his gamma for movement and for damage, and then of course if you can land your betas, this character can still put in a nice amount of work. I can't lie. My time playing him. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him getting a small buff, like, towards his special action, or maybe give him his melee combo back. But in all honesty, this guy, he can still perform. I think he's a solid B tier pick. As for his strike counterpart, I would have to go ahead and say that he's A tier. And now that may sound crazy with how you have a decent amount of Hawks running around, strike Hawks specifically running around, putting in work on the field and everything. But the reason for that is because honestly, I think people are only running this guy as much as they are because his beta's broken. And I don't mean like broken like, oh, so much damage. No, I mean that his beta's literally broken. He can ignore grabbing attacks. He can ignore CC. He pretty much has CC immunity on his beta. What Overhaul had when he first released. You catch him, or he'll just beta out of the skill. Although I do see why that would be mad annoying to fight against, especially if you're like a Shinso player, a Rapid All Might player, or an Aizawa player. What's Aizawa? Yeah, an Aizawa player. I don't get why that would be annoying, but when they inevitably fix it, because I don't think that's intentional. At least not until like level 7, probably. I can see them probably giving them that at like a level 7. I don't think it's intentional for them to have it at level 1. Once they fix that, and the number of Strike Hawks will probably drop down a little bit, same way that it did with Overhaul. I think this character is very, very strong. I like the fact that he can combo all his skills together. I like when I see a Strike Hawks, I don't just, get a feeling of dread like I do when I fight like Shinso, Kendo, Kiri, and so on. So I think he's a super strong pick, but he's not broken, I feel like. It's just that he has that CC immunity beta right now that everyone is spamming. That makes it where he could be a problem. But even then, I still feel like you can still fight against the guy pretty well. Let's get on over to our last hero here, Mount Lady, the fine Mount Lady. I'm not simping, guys, I promise. Anyway, let me see where I put her. I put her in B tier. So I put her in B tier because she's also another character I feel like got nerfed way too much. But despite that, I feel like she can still put in work. But with the way that the game wants you to play her, a lot of her skills are coming from her special action. A lot of her damage is coming from her special action. You want to be giant when you're using all your skills. You want to be giant when you're shooting off those alphas, when you're stomping on the ground with those betas, when you're using your gamma. The game wants you to be in your giant form when you do all that, to go ahead and stack up like really big damage. So with that in mind, it's like the reason why I put her more in B tier is because I'm not saying you can't dominate in her base form. You can, but it's just the way the game has shifted her playstyle. They want you to use your gigantification to put in all that damage that that this character is capable of. But another reason why I put her in B tier is, funny enough, and I'm gonna have to put this to a separate video, sadly. All for One being having the ability to steal special actions does hurt this character a lot. It hurts a lot of characters, but it does hurt this character a lot. So with that in mind, she's a character that I feel like is situational. She can dominate in endgame, I'll tell you that much. She can easily dominate in endgame. But she's a situational character, still very strong, can still dominate. But yeah, she's a situational type of character. So I would have to put her in B tier. Now, sadly, I have to go ahead and wrap up the video here because I'm almost out of time. So for the villains, just click on part 2. There will be a part 2 for this video. Click on part 2. The villains will get their own individual tier list. They got to share with the hero, sadly, because I didn't really prep for that. But these guys will have their own video at the very least. But I have to wrap up the video here because I'm running out of time. So if you guys, enjoyed this tier list and everything, this tier list idea, be sure to smash that like button, the subscribe button, and those notification bells so I can do more in the future. But I want to give you guys my own spin on what I think the tier list would look like. So here's the hero version for you guys to see before I have to wrap it up. And all I can ask from you guys is be sure to go ahead and tap on the part 2 for this video so we can see where exactly am I going to put all these villains at on this tier list. With that being said, I'll see you guys hopefully in part 2. See you in the next video.